with the grown-up professionals at the highest level. Who's going to bet? I don't know whether the starting center's girlfriend broke up with him, whether his parents have groceries that week. I don't know whether his roommate and him had a fight. So why would I want to bet on that?
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show, brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Saturday nights are for Pro Volleyball Federation action. Atlanta, Georgia, we're at the Gas South Arena. Myself, DP. Coach Renee Saunders next to me, Enrique Alvarez-Clary. Of course, Ben Draws back at the board, manning the mothership, making sure that we get to you on time and on purpose. Really appreciate it. We don't have to hype this tonight. I talked to some folks locally just to find out where it stands, and we get caught up in our own little vacuum of what we think is happening. But to have people talk about the Atlanta vibe and what it's doing locally, it's landed. The vibe is landed. It's legit. Folks are paying attention, and they also know that tonight's a big night as the Supernovas come to town. Coach, the league identity, the league culture, the league vibe, where does the league stand? I mean, we know that Atlanta and Omaha sit at the top of the federation, but what else is in play as far as you're concerned?
It's such a wide open ball game. You know, you look at the whole league, you look at San Diego, knocked off Omaha, then won their next game. Like, they're on a win streak, just staying the course, getting some wins, moving their ways up. This is going to come down to the wire. I really think that it's going to be one of those leagues where the inaugural leagues, it's not going to disappoint. It's going to come down to everybody's 24 matches. It's going to be close. And then you go to playoffs and you're looking at 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, and you're looking at playing a team for the 5th time, which is going to be another thing that I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's good. And these teams are all very, very strong. I don't think we can underplay the importance of tonight's match in any way, shape, or form. I mean, number 1 versus number 2. You've got Grand Rapids and Orlando with 7 wins after that. Then you got San Diego with 6. They've passed up now Columbus and Vegas, who have 5. So they went from 3 to 6 just since we were in San Diego a short time ago.
Well, we kind of painted the picture because I said that night this was an opportunity for San Diego to kind of change its place in the league and kind of set the table for what the rest of the season could look like for them. Well, look at the mojo, and it's been on purpose. The same thing for Orlando, in that if you pay attention to it, Orlando is 7-5 against the rest of the federation. If you take the series against Omaha out of it, they're at 7-5 against the rest of the conference. They don't have anybody that's out of reach for them, and they're playing themselves into a position where, my goodness, they will have a say-so on how this thing finishes. Give me Orlando and why they're a dangerous team.
I mean, Orlando right now, I think they're a little beat up, actually. So right now they might be down a little bit. I think they've had some losses recently, but Orlando's got Adoranai. They've got Wilma Rivera. I mean, they've got MK White and Kaz Brown in the middle. They're a strong, strong team. Jill Gillen on the outside, Dora and Shania Joseph on the right side. Wow, I just said them all, I think. And then they have Georgia Murphy at libero. So they're a strong team. I think Georgia Murphy's at Orlando. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're strong top to bottom. They've got a pretty strong bench. They've had to put in some players when Shina Joseph was out. We saw a couple people come in during that time when Adora and I was out, people then. So, I mean, again, there's not a weak team in this league. They're all within.
Like we joked about it, but there's the reality.
It's a fact. It's a fact. Like we're not like saying it just to hype it up. Like it's a legit, like anybody could beat anybody on any given night.
And I think that was the intention of the league, and with its balance and parity and all of those things, talent in every organization. Grand Rapids has done a thing. Like we saw them early. We saw them get off to an early hot streak. Then we saw them kind of reassess and have to rebrand themselves and redirect themselves. But if they end up the 3 seed or the 4 seed, that doesn't mean it's an easy get for Atlanta or Omaha.
No, there's no easy gets. Like, it was funny. I asked Bird today when I was talking to her, I'm like, all right, rank it. Importance of this match tonight, 1 to 5. 5 being the most important and 1 being doesn't matter if we win or lose.
Yeah.
And she was talking about all these different things. She's like, every game from here on out to 5. I'm like, I like that answer. That's exactly it. Like, I mean, I've been saying it the last couple matches, like every match is important. You know, you've got Atlanta's played 18. They have 6 left, counting this one tonight. So 5 after tonight. We've played 16 matches. We have 8 left, 7 after tonight. Grand Rapids played 15 matches. They have 9 left. Orlando's played 16. They have 8 left. San Diego's only played 14. They have 10 more. Columbus played 15. They have 9 more. Vegas has played 16. They have 8 more. So really, Atlanta's finished the most of the games, right? They played the most matches. And then you've got San Diego, who still has 10 to go. So there's a lot that can change in that amount of matches when everybody's in such close quarters.
We're also at that point where players are starting to get identified for national notoriety and opportunity. So the rosters will change a bit. You as a coach, how do you deal with that? That if your players can get the nod from Team USA and say, hey, look, we're going to pull you away, or the Olympic teams, how would you deal with that?
I'd be stoked to have an Olympian on my squad, number one. You can't take opportunities away from kids. I mean, no matter what the age, they have that opportunity. Now, obviously, you know, Asia O'Neal, probably the most notable, right, has accepted a roster spot for USA. So I don't even know the layout of when they leave, how that affects them later on. I would hope, there's a part of me that really would love to see USA Volleyball and PVF work together on this, right? Like, could they finish if it's a 1 or 2 week deal? You know, and maybe who knows, if Columbus doesn't get into the top 4,
then what happens, right?
Right. Does it matter? You know, I mean, there's a lot, if their season's done and then you report to USA, I don't know all the logistics of it, but ideally, we're trying to grow the game of volleyball here in the United States, and that should benefit USA Volleyball, correct?
That would be the ideal.
Right. So then I would think that in some way, shape, or form, they should be able to support the culmination of this inaugural season without it causing an issue with their training.
There's also the facet of it that there's preparation for that, right? There's time and resources that have to be spent to get the players ready for that. That's also a part of how it affects a team, because you're pulling away players who are obviously in leadership positions on the teams that exist.
Right, they're key roles, 100%. And that's why I think that I would love for them to find a common ground there. And I don't know if those conversations have been started, and maybe they have. I don't know the timeline to when these players would report. You know, I don't know all the details. That'd be something I'd have to look into before our next match on the 20th and try to get back to you on that. But I don't know. But I would hope they'd support it, because I think the goal of this league is to not just keep players in our country to play in front of fans, but also make volleyball better for USA.
Coach, I think so much of this has been driven on the introductory side of it. Okay, this is what the Pro Volleyball Federation is about. This is these are the players, these are the people that are involved. The style of play, and then the digital aspect of having B6. I think that based on the fans that I've talked to, That's a major plus. That's in the top 3-tier thing that fans love about the Pro Volleyball Federation is the V6.
Oh, 100%, especially when it's working. You know,
Whoops.
the one time it's gone down when we were here, it wasn't as fun, right? Like there's no challenges, there's none of that. But I think that we've shown the capabilities of how fast you can get through a challenge and how clear the pictures are, and that you don't need line judges because it'll tell you almost faster and you just don't have as much human error. You know, the one thing that I think the matches for some reason are longer though. And I don't know if it's the fact that they have a TV timeout plus their 2 timeouts or what exactly is extending the match, but I feel like the matches are pretty long.
Is
As
that rally? Is that rally based?
No, rally scoring is gonna move faster.
No, but that there are longer rallies than there seem to be.
There might be longer rallies. Agreed. If you're not terminating, obviously the rallies are going a little bit longer. There's not as many errors. Depends on the team you're playing and the score. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, it could be longer rallies. There is that additional timeout in a way, right? You've got that minute and a half one at point 15, and then you've got 2 additional timeouts. So really, there's 5 total timeouts. But if they take their timeout before the 15, I don't think the TV one happens.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So then you just have 4 in those instances. But it's great volleyball. So it doesn't feel like it's forever. It's almost like we get done, and I don't even realize what time it is till I get out, and I'm like, oh, really? Like when you're in it, it's exciting, it's fun, it's fast paced. The challenges are fast, the rallies are fantastic. You know, there's always something happening. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but we got to make sure, obviously, we want viewership to happen. And sometimes people don't like long things.
Do you think that the league's mission, the federation's mission, with the style of play, again, substitution rules in effect, and then the rotational stuff of not having the full long middle blockers that you would have that specialize, it seems that the style of play is that everybody gets to contribute and everybody's a part of it. I think that was the intention, right?
100%. And I think substitutions actually, the fact that we don't have a ton of them, shorten everything too. So, I mean, I think the level of play is fantastic. The all-around skill of the players is fantastic. The pace of the game is fantastic. The serving clock, 15 seconds, is wonderful. I don't have a lot of complaints. Like, I think this league is doing a lot of things right.
Well, and you're right in that the service clock hasn't come into to play as far as we've seen, right?
I have not seen a service clock violation. I've seen it taken down to the wire, but I haven't seen a violation.
I mean, is that a thing that can be coached and managed that way?
Oh, absolutely. Go back, do your thing, hit the ball in. It's pretty simple.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that. I don't think you play the service clock game. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch anybody, they all have their routines. They all go kind of the same way. Obviously, having people at the end getting balls to servers is important. I think that's the biggest thing. So having ball shaggers, you see those in college matches too. But I think the 15-second serve clocks is awesome.
I think the league has done an exceptional job in promoting the athletes, for telling the stories, right? That there are some exceptional stories in this federation. The number of national players and the hype. I'd like to spend some time talking about some of those players. There are players in the building tonight that have great stories. Like I think we've buried a lead, but Gabby's got a great story. There are some fantastic stories around, and I'd want to spend some time in it, and then we'll get into the Atlanta vibe and the Supernovas. That's not going to be difficult to do. These are 2 heavyweight sluggers who are just going to get in the middle of the ring and figure it out. But we have lots to talk about. Coach Renee Saunders, Enrique Alvarez, Clary, I'm DP. More coming up here on the Supernovas Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Grab a free burger and beer at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln on April 27th during their Husker Spring Game tailgate. Meet the Elway Power Sports team, play some tailgate games with them, and enter for a chance to win an official John Elway autographed football. Check out their huge selection of boats and watercraft for the summer, along with hundreds of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides from all the major brands. Stop out and watch the game with them on April 27th. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, 27th and I-80. They'll be tailgating all day.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Gas South Arena, Duluth, Georgia. We did get a change of hotel, so we didn't go to the closest thing. We are in Norcross, Georgia. And a good opportunity to see two teams that are projected to be in the Big Four that make it to Omaha and get to make the final statement of what this season one of Pro Volleyball Federation volleyball is going to look like. Coach Renee Saunders next to me. Coach, it's stories that each of these teams have players who have jumped off the court and into our lives of who they are and why their stories are important. And I think Gabby is a really good example that the league has found a way to be inclusive. It's found a way to allow these stories to be told. Jess Shaben-Lansman being another story. Coach, what are the stories that jump out to you that some of the fans may have been missing?
I like that you gave me a heads up on this question.
Well,
now I'm like staring at all of them. Like, what are their stories? I mean, every single one of them has a different kind of story. Yeah, Gabby's a super cool story because she works for Boston Scientific, and part of her thing was like, hey, I need to be able to answer my phone, and this is a job I worked really hard for, and I really want to keep it. But I'd love to try to play, but I don't want to give up my job. Jess Shaben-Lansman was a elementary teacher. Just had a little boy. I mean, he's a year old now,
15 months.
15 months old.
15 months.
And is the head coach, or will be the head coach of Blair High School next year. Then you've got Nadi, who's been in Omaha forever. I don't think anybody knew unless you've been to her gym, and I can't remember what it's called right now. I give it a shout out, but she does training in Omaha. Didn't even know him, and I'm in the volleyball community, but she's been doing trainings and stuff like that within Omaha. So her story is kind of cool too. Puerto Rican national team, been around a little bit. Mayfield, another cool story, college coach. I don't want to mess this up. At South Dakota State. I didn't want to say the wrong South Dakota school, but the South Dakota State, assistant coach, comes out of retirement, hadn't played pro before, and decided that she was going to give it a shot, and here she is. I think Just Shaven Landsman was one of those, again, retired, hadn't really played in a long time, and gave tryouts a shot. Next thing you know, here she is on the roster and starting and playing a pretty significant role. Lots of cool stories of just a great group of girls that get along. Like riding the bus is funny and confusing because they play all these really weird games, but they legit like get along with each other so well. Like today on the way to the game, what animal are you?
Yeah.
Like, and then when, they said Sophie was a lemur or a turtle or whatever it was. And then she's like, tries to tell him what she thinks she is. She's like, no, you can't pick yours.
Yeah,
like, you can't pick it. And, like Bird talks all the time about their chemistry, right? They get along really well. And they're so different and so unique, but they do have really good chemistry. And so all their stories have come together to make a pretty cool team story.
There's some veterans in this thing that we've kind of watched, pinned, and then focused on. But Betty, to me, is a story like there's been a rebirth, right? She was playing at a high level, and then there was some friction. And then all of a sudden, in the last two matches, we saw Betty at a level and went, wow, there she is. There's the Betty.
Bird was the funniest, though. She's like, you know what? You know what it was? Did you do this part of the post game last time?
No.
So Bird was like, you know what it was? Betty was just waiting until we got to like towards the end of the season and then decided to turn it on. Because this is who Betty is what she was saying. And that just made me laugh because I'm like, I'm 46. If I were playing, I'd probably kind of save my energy too. No, Betty's not 46.
Yeah,
she's 36.
Yeah,
but she'll tell me all the time like something's hurting, like her back or whatever it might be, and I just look at her and I shake my head. I'm like, just wait, honey, just wait. But Bird's like, you know what it is? She waited. She knows now we're getting down to like do or die time, and so Betty's gonna be Betty. She's like, this is who she is. This is how she plays. Just funny. Betty cracks me up.
There was the other part of it that Nadi has been on the roller coaster ride, but maintained her personality, her profile. And then of late, she's been the quarterback that's making playmaking and being the energy driver of this thing. I think it's fair to say that she's a big part of the rebirth as well. That Nadi just coming in and feeding people and getting people involved is critical for this team in the final third of the season.
But I think that all stems from Sydney doing it, right? Like they're competing with each other, and that competition is making them both go to new heights. So Sydney, player of the week, 51 set assists in a match, record. Now he's like, oh yeah, what's this? Comes in. I don't even remember like if they subbed or what happened, how the switch was made, but they made a change. Yeah. Nadi comes in. Next match, 56 set assists, sets the record again. And so, that's what competition's for. It's to make everybody better. And I think that when you have people in multiple positions that can compete with that person, it's not, yes, we want to be the starter, right? Nadi wants to start. Sydney wants to start. Only one of them can start. Kendall wants to start. Gabby wants to start. Only one of them can start. And I think that's hard. But at the same time, you know that you're making that other person better. And then when you get your shot, you know that you have what it takes to get it done. And I think that that's something that is unique with this team. And it's something that even with Betty on the outside and Brooke on the outside, like if we need, Paige can come in. If we need on the right side, Maggie can come in or whatever it might be. Like we have Sophie to go in on the middle. We have a backup center. We have a backup, we have so many positional needs being met, but they still are very good at accepting their roles. They might not like it, but they accept it and they know that it's best for the team. And their goal then as the next week in practice is to do their best to try to beat them out and get the next nod.
They have been fluid, and
Yes.
Coach Bird has been exceptional in pressing the right button, getting the right call in. We'll take a break here, but when we come back, we'll get into the Atlanta Vibe, the first matchups of the season that we've seen these two teams against each other, and then the differences, because I would imagine that this game will be about personnel management as well as anything else. So there's talent and depth on both teams. We'll talk about the previous matchups when we come back to the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans, begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
It's the Atlanta Vibe and the Omaha Supernovas. This is season 1, episode 4 of question mark. It is a thing that around the league and around the country, what folks are talking about is another opportunity to see what appears to be a rivalry. The two teams that have figured out that at the top of the federation, they will set the standard of play and identify some of the best talent that's in the federation. The Atlanta team, I mean, look, there's depth. There's explosive athletes. There's different rotations that they will use. Coach, I'll ask you to go through that. And now he just went across the net with their left hand, right onto the Atlanta side.
That's why she's right-handed.
Yeah. What is it? Let's talk about the Vibe team because there's some depth of talent and some versatility. They're not one type, one size fits all. Let's start at the end of the roster. There's so many players that we can talk about. Reagan Pittman is a player that has given Omaha some difficulty.
Yeah, anytime Pittman's gone in, and she's made a difference with her block, with her attack. She's a solid all-around player who actually is from the Kansas area, went to St. Thomas Aquinas, one of our little fun rivalry schools that we play against. I did not realize that until their coach actually texted me afterwards and said there were 2 St. Thomas Aquinas alumni on the first match, PVF match of the inaugural season, the other one being Mayfield from the Supernovas. But yeah, Reagan Pittman, rookie. She was an All-American from Minnesota, middle blocker, 6'5", just a really disciplined all-around, really good player. She puts up a great serve, but anytime she has played against us, she has given us fits. She actually got in quite a bit one match, and then as soon as Magda joined the team, she's been on a little bit less, but they have kept her on the roster, which I think is awesome because she definitely deserves the spot.
This Atlanta team is dynamic at the pit, and the rotations that they put in sometimes are matchup based. Very little of it seems to be limited, that they have matchup problems around it. But let's talk about their talent in the pen and why it provides such problems for teams in the Federation.
I just don't think there's any, like, their whole attack is so balanced. You know, you've got Leah Edmond, probably the number one attacker in the league. She has 329 points in 18 matches this season. She's averaging 5 points a set. She's power. She can pass. She can do it all. She can block. And, I mean, she's their go-to person. They started the season with Linehan at the outside hitter, you know, kind of that ball control L2 type position where she can kind of do it all as well. But Lekator member Maneh has come in and really just embraced the starting role with Atlanta in the last couple matches. And I think it goes back to the second time we played them. She got in and she's been on the roster in that starting spot since, and just so dynamic. Like, I don't know if there's a player on their team, and I say that a lot, but I feel like every team in this league has so many dynamic players. But I mean, Atlanta's exceptional. There's a reason they're number one in the league.
They've also got great ball handlers and setters.
You're watching them right in front of you.
Right, just to watch how effective, great touch, great intensity. And then there's high IQ and how they process the game, to hear them talk about it. What do they do that makes this Atlanta team so exceptional at it?
Well, you got Morgan Hentz, who's the black hole of liberos. She seems to dig everything. Not last time we played him at home, the last time we played him in Atlanta, we kept the ball away from her pretty well.
Yeah.
But she can dig just about everything. And then you have Hiapo, who comes in from BYU. She comes in, she was Arizona BYU, comes in, serves, plays defense. And again, another one that can go on runs serving and provides a lot of defensive intensity for the Vibe.
They just found a cricket.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was losing. Nobody wanted to touch it.
Yeah, and then finally Edmund went over and said, "Give me."
Leah's a tough one.
Yeah, we can get that done. Let's talk about the bigs in the middle for Atlanta and what they provide. There's again their numbers and their rotations are pretty strong.
Well, we talked about Pittman already. She comes in off the bench, but you've got Shelly Fanning, middle blocker from Baylor, 4-year pro, plays for Athlete Unlimited. She also is a 3-time All-American. She was on the collegiate national team in 15 and 16. Great blocker, great attack. One thing Atlanta does really well is they find their middles in transition really, really, really well. And because of that, that makes Fanning, Pittman, and then Yala Hashuba all very big options in the middle. Yala Hashuba, Magda joined them a little bit later. She played at Washington State from Czech Republic, was on their U17 team there. She was the number 2 pick in the draft, actually to San Diego, and then was traded to Atlanta, played overseas. Her season ended there. She joined the Atlanta Vibe, and she's phenomenal. She's made a huge difference for them. But the one that we haven't talked about that just blows me out of the water is Anna Lazareva. I mean, their oppo is probably one of the best ones in the league. Her back row attack, her ability to make hard cuts either sideline are phenomenal. She came in a little bit later as well. She started with Grand Rapids, had 25 kills on 50 attacks in their first match. I mean, just a great player. And I think all this is put together with their setter, Marley Monserrat from Florida, UCLA, just a awesome all-around player, great leader for the team. Anytime you can run a balanced offense with production from all your pins, front row and back row, you're doing your job well.
It seems to me that, and I was on a group chat, and they were talking about the Federation, and that if you were going to have a vote today about the Player of the Year, they're in the building tonight. And Edmond has just been remarkable. And there's no other way to describe what she's done and what she does for this team.
No, she has been lights out. I mean, she's always been a Terminator. She's, I think every time I watch her, like, the word that pops in my head is fearless. Like, it doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. She's going to give you 110%, and she doesn't care if you put a 7'5" person on the other side. She's going to go at you with everything she has. And so I think that tenacity and fearlessness that she has, and I don't know, she has a swag about her. Like, just watching her in warm-ups, watching how she moves, like, she knows she's good, but she's not cocky, right? Like, she has a swag, like, and it's a good swag. And I don't know, I really enjoy watching her play.
They've got players. I mean, you mentioned Shelly Fanning. Grace Cleveland's another one that simply they make the machine move. They will do whatever's required and whatever point. And it's impressive to watch. I want to ask you about the coaching staff and what they do. And this sort of success doesn't happen without great leadership.
Yeah, I'd like to be in their gym when they're training, in all honesty, because, you know, it's funny when teams are doing well, teams are doing bad, you know, you automatically like assume they're doing something as a coaching staff. And Todd's a great coach. He's got great assistants that obviously know what they're doing. They have they must have a certain bond themselves, right? A good chemistry. Because right now, I think Atlanta, they're on a 5-game win streak. They probably have a lot of confidence right now. They know this is a big game, and I'm sure their coaches have them ready to go. Because they're up 2-1 on us in this series. This is a big game for Omaha, but it's also a big game for Atlanta.
Yeah, you don't want to let folks back in the door. We'll go to break. When we'll come back, we'll talk about the Supernovas. It is a team that has regained its footing and redirected itself, and it has an opportunity to make a big statement tonight here at Gas South Arena. I'm DP. Coach Renee Saunders, Enrique Alvarez, Clary here. Ben Drives running the board. More on the Supernovas Radio Network when we come back to Atlanta.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through April 14th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce bacon wrapped sirloins for $3.99 each, USDA Choice Tri-Tip for $9.99 per pound, 1 dozen large eggs for $1.98 when you purchase 2, and 24 packs of Miller Lite or Coors Light for $15.99 with the purchase of 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So, if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
We're about 22 minutes away from first serve here at Gas South Arena, Atlanta, Georgia. DP Coach Renee Saunders. Coach, let's go through it. There's some bodies on the Atlanta side that we didn't get to, and that's not on purpose because there's so many. One, their ball. I mean, look, listen. We saw Bauer. We didn't see Linehan last time they came to Omaha. We didn't get to see them. We didn't talk much about Carice Watson, who is a playmaker and a problem. Look, they have numbers. They have options. They have talent.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like the very first time they played in Omaha, win in 5. You know, you had Linehan started. You had Grace Cleveland at the opposite start. You had Watson start in the middle, and then you had Corey Dilfer Stringer setting at the time.
Yep.
So this is a team that's really evolved over the course of the season. They made some changes lineup wise, obviously, trading Dilfer to Columbus and then bringing in Magda from overseas when she was done with her season, bringing in Bauer off the practice squad into the active roster. They also picked up Yassiana Presley, who was with us at the beginning of training camp, and then when we released her, Atlanta picked her up. Another person that we've seen pop in the lineup a little bit. But yeah, they are, we talk about the depth of Omaha. I would say Atlanta's the same. Like almost every single one of the players on their sideline has started a match for them. So they have that experience as starters. And I'm assuming that they all want to start as well. So the competition in their gym is probably very strong as well.
Monterrez is again a fit all utility knife that kind of moves around, better at the net than you would imagine at 6 foot, but she's a playmaker.
Oh, 100%. And that's a generous 6 foot, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like these heights are pretty,
Yeah.
they might be a little exaggerated. I think if I stood next to her, we'd probably be about the same height. But again, even more impressive at what she does in the front row. I was looking at, I think I was actually talking to Rico about this earlier today about a lot of the teams are running 5-1s with smaller setters. So they might give up a little bit on block for those 3 rotations at their front row, but they're finding ways to play defense around it. They're finding ways, to make it work because they're that good of setters. And I think Marley Monserrat is one of those.
And isn't that the convenience of having stone cold killers at the pen? Like you can take the chance of you're making your play and 3 passes in and boom, you get a finish rather than long rallies.
Yeah, when you have a Leah Edmond on the outside and you have a Lazareva on the right side, there's a good shot that you're going to have termination. I would say probably 2 out of 4 times, looking at anywhere from 40 to 50% of the time, if they're getting the ball, they're putting it on the floor.
The numbers are fantastic. For the Supernovas, there's a lot of the same discussion because, again, stars change. The role players off the bench, we start with Paige Briggs and knowing that she's going to come in, and when she comes in, it'll be in a critical situation. Plays need to be made.
Oh, yeah. And of course, I talked to my little bird about multiple things, but she had said how Paige obviously is one that they trust off the bench to come in at, big times, big opportunities where maybe they just need a change of pace or maybe things just aren't going very well. But the other one, she said, Mayfield had a really good week of practice this week, so that could be another person that we see off of our bench if the need arises.
In the rotation, the season started with Jess Shaven-Lansman winning the job. And then in her rotation, she's accepted, you know what, there are things when I have it going, it means that I'm doing everything well, not just something well. How do you get her involved in it, and what are the traits that kind of we want to key on?
For Jess, I think she has to come up with attack right away. I think that's kind of her thing. If she can get some good swings defensively, she's actually done a really good job defensively getting digs. I think we're kind of having a little bit of a defensive lineup today, right? We've got Nadi in at setter, so we've got defense there. We've got Jess in at the right side. She's a pretty strong defender at the opposite. If she can dig and she can hit and hopefully maybe get a couple blocks, then Jess is going to have a great day.
A big part of this in the playmaking, and again, Sydney being supportive and being fluid. That when her number's called, she jumps out there and she's 100%. I think it's big. I think this may be a night where we see Sydney in some situations and opportunities just for matchups and a change of pace. What does Sydney bring? What can she bring tonight against Atlanta?
Sydney, so the funny part about those two is they're both fantastic setters, right? You have not league record, but you have franchise record set by Sydney and then turnaround franchise record set by Nadi. Obviously, Nadi gives up a little bit on block, but like I said, that's something that teams have been able to work around, so hopefully that continues to happen. Sydney comes in. Sydney just provides a different court presence, where Nadi is more up, Sydney's more calm. And then you have, even we talked about this at Libero, like Gabby, more calm, Kendall's more up. So they bring different things as far as the energy on the court. And I think Sydney is a student of the game. She's the one that's always wanting to learn more, understand more. And so she might bring that even without going on the court to Naughty, like, hey, this is open. This is what they're doing. She's going to make a difference in this game, whether she sees the court or not.
I think this is another night where I circle the middle blockers and say we'll be able to watch. Look,
that should be every night.
Right. Well, but offensively, it's just where you're going to steal those 3 points per set that make the difference. And to not steal them, to be on purpose on how you attack and getting them involved.
And we have done a better job of setting our middles. When we're successful, we can get our balls to the middle. So that's why I'm saying, like, every night, that's going to be something you're going to have to circle, because in the matches that we win, we get the middles of the ball more. We're not setting the pins the whole time. The pins are going to get their kills. We all know they're going to get their kills for both sides. So offensively, obviously, the middles make a difference, but defensively, it's going to be so important for us to find Atlanta's middles in transition.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it and say that when Christina and Tori are a factor, they hold people accountable. And there's that part, right? That giving people an additional responsibility so they can't just fly all over the place and play make. And then for them to be able to put the ball down on the floor against these all-world defenders that Atlanta has. And I think maybe we undervalue Atlanta defensively. They're so good offensively.
I do not undervalue.
Right?
The reason they're so good offensively and in transition is because they're so good defensively. Like, you're not setting your middles in transition if you're digging balls at the 25-foot line. You know, like, you're digging inside the 10 and your setter's making plays and your middles are making themselves available. So we're talking about their offense because of their defense. We're not talking about their offense with bad defense.
Yeah. It's fun to watch. Even in the other matches that have been there, are we fair in setting an unreasonable standard for Betty De La Cruz? Like, can we?
She must hit 560 every match,
right?
Like
It's just
and
seems
get
like
26 kills.
Yeah,
Yes.
like and 3 aces, right? Like,
she was wearing her new Jordans today, so it could happen.
See, that's so funny. That's such a jock thing that I got new shoes, so I'm going to jump higher, run faster.
It's a real thing.
It's a real I understand it, but
look
I just
good, play good.
Oh my God! Like, it's so funny. Like, and there is a different bounce to it when you have the new stuff on. So all fair. Look, all fair. I'm not even mad at her.
She's wearing J's. She's okay with me.
Look, it's a good deal. Listen, through all of this, I think a player that steps up tonight is somebody that's kind of gotten lost in the fold, in that she's so exceptional and so consistent. But Brooke Dunaviller is a factor. She's the X factor. She's the game changer from the back row.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that Bird talked about today is that we had to find ways to get kills from the middle of the court, whether that's the setter attacking, the middle blocker attacking, the back row attack on that BIC coming up. But we've got to utilize the middle of the net and not be stuck on our pins. And so that goes down to defense and passing and all those things. And for the other side, trying to get them out of system, obviously serving tough, that's going to be an important thing. But yes, Brooke Nunaviller being able to attack from the back row, Jess Landsman being able to attack from the back row. Like, these are all going to be important things today, because if we become one-dimensional, Atlanta will eat us up.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. The crowd's pulling in, starting to get a vibe here that Atlanta is going to be alive for this thing. We'll throw it a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the starting lineups, get you all set for the Supernovas and the vibe. Match number 4 of the season, and Atlanta comes into it with a 2-1 record over the Supernovas. I'm TP, Coach Renee Saunders, Enrique Alvarez-Clary on duty here as well, and we'll have more for you here on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bosden. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and actively involved in our community. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Property tax relief is important to every family, and I will continue to deliver more property tax relief to working families. This is Carolyn Bosden, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Bosden for Legislature.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
We're 10 minutes from first serve. Gas South Arena, DP, Coach Renee Saunders, and the Supernovas Radio Network. We want to thank the fine folks from Mullen Motors for making this happen. Each match, whether home or away, making sure you get the pregame matchups and the talk. Coach Renee Saunders, if you would please, let's start on the Atlanta side. Let's break down this projected starting lineup.
Well, I mean, same lineup we saw last time that we faced them in Omaha. You're going to have Leah Edmond on the outside again, like the leading point getter for the team. You know, before they started warm-up, she's on one knee talking to them. You can tell that she's a leader of the team. Opposite of her, you're going to have Lecator member Mena, outside hitter from Pitt. She is 5'7", but plays like she's 6'5". I love watching that kid play. She plays hard. She's explosive, and she can do it all. In the middle, you're going to have Shelly Fanning, and then Magda Yalahareva. Did I almost? It was close. I mixed it with Lazareva. So you got your two middles. Fantastic combination of middles that can do just about anything. Setting, you're going to have Marley Montserrat. And then libero Morgan Hintz, opposite Anna Lazareva. You know, there's a lot of production that comes out of this Atlanta offense, and I think it's all activated by the Morgan Hintz at libero, but then the second touch being Marley Montserrat is really what drives this machine.
Montserrat has been spectacular in matches 1, 2, and 3. It's been interesting to watch the transitions and the different players that have been put into it. Whitney Bauer is also somebody that they kind of injected into this thing in match number 3. Again, match 4 is a statement, and it's what's going on. Let's jump to the other side, and let's talk about the projected starting lineup for the Omaha Supernovas.
Supernovas, Brooke Nuneviller, Betty De La Cruz at the outside. Hopefully they can they're both playing really well right now. I hope they can continue that momentum going. By the looks of their swings and warm-up, they're ready to go. Yeah. In the middle, Tori Dixon, Christina Vuchkova. I would love to see production out of them. I mean, obviously, defensively, we really need to get a block up against these Atlanta attackers. But offensively, I'd love to see them get involved. I think the last match, they got, 14-ish sets each. I'd love to see that number get to 20, really kind of balance that attack out a little bit. Jess Shaven-Landsman on the right. Nia Reed did not make the trip, so she is not active for tonight. So Maggie Cartwright will be her backup. Then you've got Nadi Setting and Kendall at libero. So I think it's a great lineup. It's got a little bit of everything. And I just hope that we can turn our defense into offense tonight.
What's going to be required in transition? Effective ball handling, better decision at the net? What's going to be required?
All of the above.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the ball control activates everything. If you can get a ball into Nadi's hands that she can set all her hitters, then the next step is she making the right setting decision, whether it's getting a one-on-one, whether it's forcing the middle a little bit, if it's getting it to the hot hitter. Like, she's got to make those decisions in game based on what the vibe is of the game. You know, you might have a one-on-one, but it might not be the right opportunity, you know? So I think there's a lot of things that go into setting. But Nadi's experience, I think, will pay off in the long run. But once that happens, then we've got to terminate. We can't go up there and tip balls, roll shot balls, and give Atlanta free ball opportunities. We've got to be the more aggressive team tonight.
I think that service is the X factor that moves the needle, and it's a game changer. It will capture sets. How do you whisper that to professionals that, listen, your service is important?
I don't think you whisper it. I think, like, literally, Bird, number one, key to victory, serve tough. Like, we've got to be tough servers because they run such a balanced offense. We have to find a way to make them a little bit more predictable, get them out of system, whatever it might be. If we can make Atlanta a little bit predictable, we get a better block set up, better defense behind that, our chances of winning increase. If Atlanta, has three options every time up and they're terminating at will, then our chances of winning decrease. And so we've got to kind of take matters into our own hands and control what we can control. And that starts with our serve.
What was the positive difference for the Supernovas in match 2 here in Atlanta where they swept the vibe? What did they do here that they did not do in Omaha?
I think here they got angry and they united in that anger. Like, things weren't going well. They were frustrated with calls and bolt six not working, all these things. But instead of going away and breaking up, it unified them. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen tonight as far as like bolt six going out, but I think they need to be unified and they need to be channeling all their aggressiveness and competitiveness at the other side and do it together as one.
Who is your Supernovas player that has to have a night?
I think Just Shaban Landsman has to do some work tonight. I really do. I think that her production on the opposite pin and serve is going to be really important for the Supernovas tonight.
For Atlanta, who are your eyes on?
Man, let's just assume that Edmond is going to get her kills and Membermana is going to get her kills. I think the last time we played Atlanta here, Lazareva struggled, and I think that she's going to need to play a better game in Atlanta versus Omaha than she did the first time.
Yeah, I think there's so many players that can step up, and it's necessary in this thing. Coach, I need them 3 keys to the match, if you would, please.
Number 1, Supernovas have got to serve tough. We've got to get Atlanta out of system, make them a little bit more predictable. That'll help with our block defense and then transition offense. Number 2, we have to attack middle of the court, meaning not necessarily like the middle of the court defensively, but like the middle of the net. So running the middle, setter attacking, back row attacks, but basically attacking the middle, hitting those seams. And then number 3, we've got to make plays. We've got to be aggressive in everything we do, and we've got to make plays. When times are tough, we've got to grit it out and find a way to make a play. When times are good, we've got to make plays. Bottom line is we've, Bird always says outwork. This time she switched it to make plays, and I think that's a more fitting description of what needs to happen.
We do not need to hype it any more than it will be for itself.
Nope.
The 2 top teams in the Federation, Atlanta comes in at 14-4. The Supernovas come in at 10-5. Opportunities to make statements. It is match number 4 of the season for these 2 teams in a statement. The rest of the league, the rest of the volleyball fan base is watching. All eyes on Atlanta as the Supernovas and the Vibe are about to have at it. We're about 5 minutes away from first serve. That'll do it here on the Supernovas pregame show here on the Supernovas Radio Network. Jump on over to the app for both Supernovas and 93.7 The Ticket. Get the app, and we'll give you the call, and we will meet you back here for the post-match show here on 93.7 The Ticket and the Supernovas Radio Network.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone back with the latest update from Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, your new car selection keeps getting better and better every month. Can you tell our listeners all about it?
It sure is, Charlie. It's great that our customers can come in, pick out a new Honda,